Hello and welcome back to another episode of Burning Questions with myself, Glenn. In this episode we're going to be answering your questions, so covering some frequently asked questions that often come up and hopefully giving you some answers to those. So the first question is, do all lugs on our QWR fire collars require fixing? So it's a common question we get asked, so here's an example of our QWR fire collars and they require mechanical fixings into the substrate that the pipe is passing through. Another example on the photo behind me here. So this collar is a QWR 50, suitable for 50mm diameter pipes. In this photo we've got a QWR 110 for 110mm diameter pipes and a 160 for 160mm diameter pipes. And as you can see, each of the collars has a different number of fixing lugs. And the collars have been tested with a fixing in each of those fixing points. So a common scenario is a pipe in the corner of a room. Standard 110mm pipe is probably the most common. We often get asked, is it okay to just use 3 of the 4 fixing points on the QWR 110? The answer is no. It's been tested with all fixings in place, therefore it should be installed with all fixings in place. We do have solutions for applications and issues like that with other products, so it doesn't mean that there isn't a solution, but the QWR might not be the best product for that application if you can't get access to all fixing lugs. So another point on this is the fixing type that you use as well, so we'll just briefly cover some of those. We've got different types of sleeve anchors, so hollow wall sleeve anchors for fixing into plasterboard, and then concrete sleeve anchors for fixing into a concrete slab. The way these fixings work, you would pilot drill a hole either into the slab or through the wall, push the fixing through, and as you tighten it up, as you can hopefully see with this concrete sleeve anchor, as it tightens up, if it works, the end mushrooms out like that, holding it securely in place. Another fixing method is using pigtail screws, so a wire pigtail screw like that, fixing through the fixing lug of the collar into fire batt, which you'll see an example of now. So just to recap, all fixing lugs do need fixing on the QWR fire collars. Each collar does have a different number of fixing lugs depending on the size, and if you can't get all fixing lugs in, contact us, we may have another solution for you. When it comes to our QWR system, we often get asked whether it needs to be installed from both sides of the wall or whether it can be installed from one side only. And the first sort of answer to that is that in most cases, where possible, it should be installed from both sides of the wall. So installing from one side and sealing the other as well. But for applications where you don't have access to both sides of the wall, you have access to one side only, we do have some unique tested details with an example of one of them here. So this detail we've got here is with our firestopped fire batt and quail coil inchu wrap around a 110mm plastic soil pipe. So it's a double batt detail. And we do have a range of details which we've tested, double batt details which we've tested installed from one side only. So this detail, you've got 2 layers of 50mm QWR batt in the seal, and then the quail coil inchu wrap installed around the pipe in each of those layers of batt. So again, this is ideal for applications where you've only got access to one side of the wall. Another unique thing that we've tested and is demonstrated on this detail is using the fire batt to frame and line the opening. So in some cases, you might be going into a building to retrospectively fire stop the services. You won't have perfectly formed, framed and lined openings. And the benefit of this batt detail framing and lining it is that you can, in this case a plasterboard wall, you can make the opening larger and use this batt to frame and line the opening, meaning you can then install the double batt detail within that as a framed and lined opening. So we'll turn this board around and have a look at what the other side looks like. So as you can see, this side on the installation side, everything's sealed up, buttered up as it should be. But when we turn it around, you can see that things aren't as pretty on the other side. So as mentioned, a double bat seal with the quell coil. So what will have happened is obviously the opening will have been framed and lined. As you can clearly see, these edges of the bat have not been buttered up with sealant or coated. And once that's been done, once obviously the bat's been used to frame and line the opening, the double bat has then been installed inside that. And as you can see, the bat's just been pushed through. You can see excessive amounts of sealant have poked through, if you like, and that's a good thing, obviously helping to seal it up, but obviously it hasn't been smoothed off and spatulaed off as it would be if you had access to this side of the wall. So overall, just not as good looking as the other side, you might say, but just gives you a demonstration of what it would look like on the non-fire side. So that rounds off this question. We do have some solutions for installing from one side only. Again, in applications where you do have access to both sides, it would be best practice to install the application or the solution from both sides. Another question that we often get asked is whether we have solutions for profile deck floors. So the answer to that is yes, we do have tested solutions. But when you are looking for solutions for profile deck floors, you do need to consider or look for specific test evidence. One of the main reasons for that is, as you can see over here, we have an example of profile deck floor. So a standard concrete floor test would normally be done on a 150mm floor, which is what this full depth is here. Whereas, as you can see, profile decks at the thinnest part are a lot thinner than 150mm. Therefore, that 150mm test evidence on a standard concrete floor would not cover you for a lot of profile deck floor scenarios on projects. Another consideration is the metal underside of the profile deck. You need to consider again the transfer of heat there. So another area where specific test evidence should be looked for. As I mentioned, QWR do have a number of tested details for profile deck floors. A few of them you can see in this example above me here. So we have solutions for pattress fit fire bat around plastic pipes. So the bat pattress fitted to the underside and then the ends infilled there with more bat. And then in this case, either a fire collar or an intumescent wrap installed around the plastic pipe. We also have direct to floor details with our sealant. So our graphite HPE sealant and our quell stop intumescent acrylic sealant as well. And we do have more details coming as well with our QF2 fire protection compound. So multiple more solutions will be added to our library of details for profile deck floors. If you would like any information on those, as well as the details we've shown you today, please do get in touch with our technical team and they'll be happy to help you. There is a long-standing myth in the construction industry that pipes of less than 40mm in diameter do not need fire stopping, and this is a question which we commonly get asked on a regular basis. This myth does come from a misunderstanding of Approved Document B. So Approved Document B does state the requirements for fire stopping plastic surfaces. We do have a knowledge hub piece on our website, which I do have on my laptop just beside me here. So check that out. It goes into a lot more detail on it, but I will just refer to what Approved Document B does specifically say. So Approved Document B states or requires that plastic or combustible pipes of 40mm diameter or less need to meet the provisions in alternatives A, B and C. So it then lists those three alternatives. Alternative A states that you should provide a proprietary tested sealing system that will maintain the fire resistance of the wall, floor or cavity barrier. Alternatives B and C are options for instances where alternative A is not an option, and alternative A is an option. At QWR, we have a lot of different tested details for pipes of 40mm in diameter or less. And beside me here, you can see two of those examples, or two different pipes with one of those examples. So what we have here is a 43mm plastic pipe and a smaller multi-layer composite pipe. And they're fire stopped using our QuellStop HPE graphite sealant in a pattress fit fire bat. So the HPE sealant is a closure device. In the event of a fire, this 40mm plastic pipe will melt. The HPE then reacts with the heat, expands, closing that gap. Another point to note on this whole question about 40mm pipes being fire stopped is that in the fire test that we test to for penetration seals, which is BSEN 1366 part 3, one of the requirements for products to pass the fire test is that a gap of no more than 25mm. If a gap of 25mm or more appears in the wall during the fire test, that would then be deemed to have failed the test. So obviously 40mm is much bigger than 25mm diameter. If this 40mm plastic pipe was to melt in a fire, there was no closure device around it, that would then immediately have failed the requirements of BSEN 1366 part 3. So to conclude, pipes less than 40mm diameter, should they be fire stopped? Option A, if a solution is available, yes, they should be. Solutions are available, we have a lot of them, so if you'd like more information on what solutions are available, please do get in touch. Another question that we sometimes get asked is whether fire seal solutions are based on the outside diameter or the inside diameter of pipes. The short answer is they're based on the outside diameter. So we've got a few examples here. So this row of plastic pipes here, we've got QWR Fire Collars and the Quell Coil Inchi Wrap around these different pipes, which is the fire seal solution for each of them. The collars, to take it as the first example, so this would be our QWR 110 CE fire collar, which is suitable for 110mm outside diameter pipe. When you're looking at these two pipes, for example, so both 110mm diameter outside diameter of the pipe. This is a PVC pipe, this is a HDPE pipe. Again, both 110mm outside diameter, but as you can see, this HDPE pipe has a much thicker wall thickness than the PVC pipe. So the inside diameters would actually be much different on both of those. So yes, fire seal solutions are based on the outside diameter of the service, not the inside diameter. Do gas pipes need to be sleeved is a common question that comes up. All of QWR's details are tested on gas pipes which do have sleeves on. And the reason for that is that in the gas regs it states that gas pipes passing through walls and floors need to be sleeved. So as a result, all of our details are tested on sleeved gas pipes, with the majority of the details utilising our QWR HPE sealant, and we have a lot of solutions, including this one you can see here with a cluster of gas pipes, unlimited length with 2 gas pipes high, so covers for a very unique scenario. That does bring us to the end of the questions we're going to answer in this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and keep your eyes peeled for new and upcoming videos. If you do have any questions, of course, do get in touch using the contact details on the screen.